Hi there, welcome to the More Civil Podcast. This is a podcast for Blacks, Asians, and those who love them. I am Mo, and I am your host, ready to spark your curiosity as I take you on this adventurous ride of exploring cultures through the stories of my guests from all over the world. On this show, we get really personal, discussing salient issues that are relevant to our contemporary age and also building community around them. As our guests exercise courage and vulnerability in sharing their life's experiences, we hope that in turn you are inspired by them and that you get the courage needed to set your own stories free. Enjoy the ride, and thank you so much for listening. Hi again, guys, and welcome back. If you're just joining us for the first time, welcome aboard. Today is a very memorable day in my history of podcasting because I'm talking to somebody who I have come to know a lot about, and in knowing about her and also her story, it's really helped inform a lot of my practices around reaching out to people who, have special conditions that require a lot of sensitivity. And I've learned a lot from her, and I think it just goes to show the quality of person that she is in being very open with a certain degree. You understand why, but as well, just being, seeing how she can use her story to help people around her, like her around the world. So you probably from the title and I think from the flyer, you know what we're going to be talking about today. And so I'm going to do a little bit of recap because I really don't want her to start talking about her story from the very beginning. So go watch the episode that we did 2 years ago. This was 2019 and it was season 2, episode 8. And it was a day in the life of a Nigerian living with schizophrenia. So just a little bit of a recap so I don't, bother her with, all of the symptoms. But before I do the recap, I don't want to keep her just, being quiet in the background. I call her Sis. That's not her real name, of course, but I call her Sis. And I think it's a name that has stuck over the years. I've hardly had to say her name, even when we have conversations. And she describes herself as a research and data enthusiast based in Nigeria. One thing she didn't put in her bio, she's a fashion freak. She has a flair for colors. And I have her on my WhatsApp, so I see her pictures. And her birthday was actually, not too long ago. So everyone join me welcoming Sis to the platform. And Sis, it's a huge honor to have you back again. Thank you so much. How are you doing today?
Fine, thank you. Thank you so much. I feel so elated. I'm very happy to be on your podcast, More Civil, and I'm very happy talking to you again.
That's always good to hear. When we have people come back again, it shows that they had, a good experience. So thanks for trusting me enough to come back on the show. Yeah. So today's topic will be focused on schizophrenia. A little bit of just some information with this is, so she had that diagnosis a while back, and it came in different phases, which we talked about in that episode. But I think some of the things that I remember from our last conversation were just her voices, the characters, and she gave them names. Emem, she was 8 years at that time. Yes, and her name means peace in the Ibibio language, and she speaks with a cartoonish voice and has the exuberance of a child. And there's Christopher, who's like the love character, plays the baritone character of the ideal boyfriend who's trying, desperately to woo Sis's affection. And of course, if there's love, there has to be a triangle. We have Yetunde, who seems to be, one-sided relationship with Christopher. And so but then she has some other voices that haven't been distinct yet. And even though we sound very chill talking about this, we don't in any way want to, trivialize these issues. These are very grave issues. But I think the freedom and the comfortability we have about talking about Sis's conditions, because this is how she is. And, so I'm able to relate with that based on how she's, giving her story to me. Just a little bit of other background would be that schizophrenia cases are not all the same. what triggers one person's symptoms might be harmless to other people. And we know that, people can say, oh, I have depression, I have anxiety. We can talk about that openly. But these are the Cadillac, of mental health issues, and they're definitely hashtag worthy. But schizophrenia has not been given the attention it deserves, and other psychotic issues. So as a result, a lot of people suffer from stigma. And if you're from Nigeria, where we still have a lot to catch up on when it comes to destigmatizing mental health issues. So there's always that reticence to talk about these issues publicly. So she came on the show 2 years ago to share her story, like I said, and since then, with the help of you guys, we're able to do so much more. We raised some funds to help her get on her meds. So thanks to every one of our patrons for, helping her. I was so surprised. Within a week, we're able to, raise a lot of money to help her get on her meds for like a week. And we're going to check up on her in regards to that. We also connected her with, some competent psychiatrists to help, get the help she needs. I remember I even set up a WhatsApp chat, and it was a 3-way conversation, actually 4-way, 2 psychiatrists who, are wonderful guys, and then Sis and myself. And I don't know if you remember this, but one of them actually paid a very fine compliment to you. They said you defied expectations, that they've never seen a patient, sorry, they called you a patient, but you know how this doctors talk, who had, this much insight about their condition. They were very floored by just how you knew so much about, you knew that this was not normal. When I say normal, like, it's not the norm, but at the same time, you're able to understand that this is what is normal for you. And anyways, for me, it was very important that as much as we share stories on this platform, a lot of what we do is actually off camera to support, guests like Sis, to check in with them and, not just, touch them and then go. I don't live life that way. And it's really one of the ethos of the show. We hope that in that regard, Sis, we have not let you down, in keeping in touch with you and checking in on you. So I'm going to stop talking for a little bit to just check in with you.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm very happy. And I don't even know how God planned it, but I'm sure He had a very fantastic plan for me, because when this thing happened to me, that was in 2012, when I relapsed completely, because the whole thing was strange and I've never heard of that kind of thing before. So happening to me, I felt like everything had come to an end. That's the truth. God, how am I going to relate with my friends? How am I going to mix up? Will I get a job? This one, that one? Will I be able to concentrate? Will I still be that normal, smart kid growing up? But somehow, I don't even know, everything's just turning out for my good. And then you are one of those plans that God had for me, because who would even imagine, who would even think, that I can even have someone to speak to that meets me halfway? Because one thing I read up about it is, when you're suffering from this kind of condition, basically what you feed on is care, love, and attention. Basically, because there's really no, my doctor used to say that you're going to be on these pills for as long as I know. That was like him trying to play it down, and that meant you're going to be on this stuff forever, because there's no cure. You just manage it. So I'm not sure my mom could understand that. I'm not even sure my siblings. None of them could really fathom the whole concept of this schizophrenia and all that. But finding somebody in you, and thank God, the medical, somebody in the medical field, which I've always wanted, because it has to be, or it's easier for somebody from that angle, because they can easily relate, or somehow, that's just how I feel. So having somebody like you, a sister, a Nigerian, my own person that can understand our cultural, what we go through in Nigeria with all of the every, so meeting me halfway, even when I'm trying to explain, you already understand what I'm trying to say. Because truth be told, there are no words to really explain how it's going on up there. That's the truth. Except you just have to come in and see it, which I don't wish on anybody. So that's what it is. So I'm very happy for that. And you have been super, super supportive. I really, really wish, because that's the next thing I'm praying for God to give me the courage to meet you, like to do half of what you have done on your own end. I should, if I can be able to, because that's the goal, how to, identify with the community and then see how you can render help to other persons, because to an extent I'm doing good by God's grace and with the help of my sister Mo and all of that. So that's just where I feel like I've fallen short, not having the courage, not having enough courage to come out fully and tell people how to, go about it and how to manage, or how I've been doing it, to the best of my ability. So I'm just grateful, and I pray that one day, because I really needed a support system. I really, really needed a support system, and I couldn't really find that in my family circle because of the lack of understanding of what I'm going through. So what I stopped with blames and all of that. So what I'm doing now is I just leave them at wherever they can help me, wherever their help stops, based on how far they understand it. And then I try to pick up from there and assist myself on my own. So that's what I've been doing. And majorly, I really feel like having, like, when I say companion, I mean like opposite sex, would really help me in the society where I come from, so that when I'm really speaking or talking about it and you're coming all up on me, like maybe trying to run me down, and I'm telling you that sorry, where I'm even at, I'm not trying to say having a man validates me or anything, no, but I just feel like in our own Nigerian context, you're kind of like, okay, complete and everything. So I'm ready to bear it all, because I'll first speak to him about it. He will accept me that way, and then together we can face all every jabajantis and all that. So I'm very happy, very, very happy that I didn't even, because the things I've been able to achieve from that moment, 2019, we had that chat till now, I can't believe it. Like, because I didn't even see it coming that way. So in the course of this podcast, I'll be, talking so much about my little things I've been able to do, especially when it comes to work, because that part really bothered me a lot. Because if I'm not working, how am I going to keep up? How am I going to survive? How am I going to, you understand? I'll just be deteriorating. So in that area, to an extent, I've been a little bit responsible, and I've been living it up by God's grace. And so I just believe from there, everything might return to normal, but not the normal, because this is my new reality. I have accepted it in good faith, and I know whatever plan God has, it will just be unfolding it gradually. But what I have decided to do intentionally is to enjoy the moment. Because what I've been doing before, I just postpone everything, fast forward, and for the future. When God, when. So now, no more when this. It will now be now. As it's happening, I'm celebrating it. My little wins, I'm celebrating it. I'm living in it. Pending when the big one comes, fine. But for now, I'm going to really, really absorb the joys of the moment. That's what I want to do intentionally, because life is short. No one knows tomorrow. So whatever it is, it will be told that I lived my life to the fullest, regardless of schizo or no schizo. So that's it.
Wow, sis. Let me just step in here and say that even though you said you don't think you've done much, just to be on the show and share your story, you have no idea. I'm sure you do, because I forwarded some of the requests we got from people. And there was a particular one that it seemed like you even said, wow, she has the words that I do, right? I remember you had said that, like, I'll see what I can do to help her. So don't say that because you haven't come out fully, like with your full disguise and all that, you're not doing anything, you are impacting people. Okay, this is some impact. So give yourself some credit. And being out there in public with your face and name, that can take a toll on your mental health, even for anyone that doesn't have schizophrenia as well. So please take your time. Don't be in a hurry. And you coming back again to talk about your story, I imagine that it's going to also help people that are struggling with this. So please disabuse your mind of that fact that you don't think you're doing anything. You've done a lot. And I'm really so proud of, the strides that you've made, because I know that every time I reach out to you to maybe share a story with somebody, or we got an email and I wanted to ask you, hey, are you okay with talking to this person? You never say no. You never say no. So I want to say thank you for that. And I think the second question I'd like to ask of you is this, which you mentioned. So the last time we spoke, you were at the place of acceptance. And it seems like acceptance, the way I see it, is almost like a continuum. You accept more and more. And I like that. And I think accepting the reality of, especially the companions, the voices, the characters, and all the influences they've had on you, both positive and negative. Do you still, hear all those 4 voices, or has there been some changes? And just what are the nuances, and how are you coping with all of that?
Yes, very much. I still hear them. But I noticed something. I think I've mentioned that before. Each time I'm in the company of people, or maybe I have somebody that is around me or outside, the voice tends to be more quiet, like almost silent, until I'm back to being by myself again. Then I'll start hearing. That's one. I don't know if it's a win or if it's a good management system that I put in place.
You've trained them well.
I don't know, but that's one thing I noticed, and I think I'm happy, because before it used to be very confusing. It used to be, maybe I'm having a conversation, they all want to talk at the same time. This one wants to be the one to tell me what to say, and if I say that person, so that person is jubilating and happy that, oh yeah, it's the idea I gave you, and all of those things. So now they allow me to do my thing, except when I'm by myself, and all of them will now come. Then the other fear I have, and I think one of the doctors who were speaking with the psychiatrist mentioned the fear of feeling complete, like feeling enough because you have them.
That's the fear they had about you, because you had accepted them. Yeah. Do you still have that?
That is where I am now. Because I have this friend that keeps telling me, Papa, you're not going out. Why should you visit your friends now? I'm like, so I have to tell a lie that my friends, most of them are knowing this where I'm staying. Most of them are in maybe
other parts of the
Lagos,
world.
Yeah, other parts of the world. So, but it's not true. I don't really have that friend that I would be so happy to want to leave my house to go and visit and sit down with them and talk. Maybe except they call me. So that's where, I don't know if it's a challenge, but that's where I am right. When I'm alone, I'm very content, super, because I have all the characters I want to keep me complete. I don't even, if you don't call me for a week, it's not a problem. I can't even pick it out. It's not a problem, because
let me just step in there a little bit and say this, that what if it's more of your personality type than the voices? Because when you sound like a lot like my friends. They don't like to go out. If you cancel on them, they're actually very happy. They will like stay at home and do other stuff. So maybe it's a little bit of a personality, but then the voices just helps to make it more, I want to say, enjoyable staying at home. Would that be why?
I just like it. I don't know, because the new friends I'm making, they're really noticing, and they're like, what's that one? Except they really come to me. Fine, I'll play. I'll be happy to have them around. For me, going to look for them or trying to call them, it's very difficult. So that's one of the challenges I'm having right now. But aside that, I've not really had any issues, like any relapse where I'm overthinking or over worrying about anything. No. The only issue I had was one time I went to check my eyes. So the nurse now said, okay, let her just do their routine BP check and sugar check before you see the doctor. So when she did that, my BP was, she now said, no, you can't see the doctor. No, they're admitting you. I now begged her, I said, please, I have to go back to work. Or I just came to check my eyes and go back. He said, no, you're not going, you're not going. They now gave me one pill under my tongue. Then after a
Yeah,
while,
network light maybe. Yeah,
then
BP went
after
down.
it came down. So that's just, like, are you thinking of anything? I said, no, not really that. I don't really know. I've not been thinking of anything lately. I said, okay, just try and be resting. Because what I'm doing right now entails that I'm always out there
On the go.
field.
Yeah.
So maybe that was just what happened. But aside from that, nothing. Then I won't lie, I've not been taking my medications that much. I don't know. I feel like I'm regulating how it works because I don't want to get used to it. I've read about how there are people that they don't pop in pills in a day. They are not themselves. They cannot even relate. Cannot even interact. So, but in my case, it's really not like that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just lucky because my characters are very obedient, highly obedient. Like we're a team. I always say it. We're a team. We're working together. I used to ask them, I say, so what did you people come for? I thought you came to mess me. Because that's what the devil must have sent you for. To mess me up, to just run me down. But instead, you're not assisting me. You're doing almost 30% of the work I should be doing as a human being. You're doing so many things. And they'll just be laughing. I'll be like, well, really, it's true. Because I thought it would be a situation where you'd be telling me, pick up that knife, stab yourself. Because those are the movies I see, those are the things I've read. So when they'll be like, they don't talk at that point, they just decide. So I'm like, yeah, I thought you'd be, it's even me that will be inciting them. Tell me now, tell me to do this evil, tell me to do this one. Okay, this guy is coming, tell me to enter the road now. So with that here, do it now. I won't get any feedback. So I go that far. So I'm like, so what was the whole idea? Do you understand? Well, just to come and be a part of my life. Then, what are you achieving? We have conversations like that. Nobody is responding at that point. It's like, at that point, I start feeling like, are you really a human? What are you even saying? Who are you even talking to? They are not even answering. Are you even sure they are really there? They are not even reading. What are you saying? So at that point, I'll be like, it's like you're doing too much. Just calm down. Pretend like they don't even know they are there. And now pretend before you know, they're talking again. They're not talking about that thing. They now bring a different topic. They might just remind me of one thing in my childhood. They might just remind me of one nice moment. Then I'm happy again. So that's really how far I've gone to really push things. Like I want to see the end of this thing. Where will it end? So that's really it. But apart from that, I've just been coping and coping very, very correctly. Very correctly. The support 100%. I don't even know if what I'm saying sounds normal or sounds good, but that's what it is. I've not seen where, even when I don't have my friends calling me or my mom is not calling me immediately, but I'm content with. But if you look around, there's nobody there. There's nobody giving me joy there. But inside, it's just there. I'm laughing all the time and smiling. I might not be smiling out because I'm conscious not to. You get. Before when it started, I speak out. You hear, next person will hear that I'm talking, but they know I'm not talking.
Audible conversations, yeah.
Yeah, but this time, no way. I know I can talk, I'm not moving my goal. We are talking very well. I'm speaking with all the ones that are defined, the voices that I can hear. Speaking with all 5 or 4 of them perfectly, but I'm not moving my lips. So that's an achievement. So it makes me a walking calculator, a walking machine. I'm operating normal, but you're not hearing no physical expressions, no nonsense, nothing. Don't even say. But I'm doing my communication, and that's why I can stay in the bus throughout the ride. I'm not saying hello to anybody because we're talking about you sitting next to us. We're talking about the driver. We're talking about the girl standing on the road trying to cross. We're talking about different things. So why should I talk to you? Sure, you understand. So I just pray it doesn't make me, I don't know if it's the right word, a recluse, like separate myself from people. You get? So that's why I'm seriously striving for that part of having a companion, like somebody I can share this whole everyday experiences with, and would just laugh.
All right. Wow. Thank you for sharing all of that. I'd just like to chime in here and say that there's nothing like getting used to or getting addicted to the medications. I speak boldly as a pharmacist because some of these, like with schizophrenia, we don't know what causes it, but I think sometimes it could be imbalances, like, or maybe some chemical imbalances and all of that, maybe trauma as well. So just think of it like if you're depleted in an area, the drugs help to replete those things that have been lost. So it doesn't really say that you are the one getting addicted to it. You don't need it to like survive. You just want to gain some functionality back. And as you know, with schizophrenia, there are positive symptoms and there are negative symptoms, right? Positive ones are the ones that were added to, the condition that, you didn't have before, but they were added to the condition. And then negative ones are the ones that were taken away from you. So like, being able to be social. So that limited social interaction, inability to experience pleasure, lack of desire to form relationships. Those are really hard. And those are the ones that really impact quality of life. And the medications can help with that. Now, the positive ones might be easy to take away, but the negative ones are really bad in the sense that it's harder for you to give back, to replace what has been lost. But the positive one, you can take away what has been added, right? So the medications can really help with that, because I do remember the psychiatrist telling me that they were also concerned for you in that regard, as to you having that acceptability is a good thing. But the downside of that is you're not very proactive in seeking like enrichment outside of yourself. And I think it speaks so much strength to the kind of person you are, in that you do recognize this as well. So I want to encourage you that as best as you can, being adherent to your medication will probably help. And I think with these other things you're doing, like your job, you having these conversations, building community, being involved with other people, as time goes on, you'll get to that point where, it might get better. I really hope so. But I know that at least, from what we know about schizophrenia and all that, medications just seem to help a lot. Now, the side effects and all of that other stuff might be a deterrent. And I know you've talked about that, putting on weight, your blood pressure, and, sometimes it affects your mood, and so balance,
my speech,
your dryness,
suffering. It does so many
pyramidal effects. Yeah.
My fingers, so many things it does.
Yeah.
Side effects. It got me scared once. I called to tell my doctor and I was like, I don't understand. It's too much. Affects my period, my cycle as well. Like the doctors say, the medications really help. But I'm just thinking the side effects, like you mentioned. Except they just very low dosage. Because it might not really, because it does so many other things to me. Affects my menstrual cycle, affects my tongue. I'm always sticking out my tongue whenever I'm taking this medication. My fingers just start moving for no reason, like I'm losing control of them or something. So
I mean, I do know that yes, the side effects can be quite hard as well to tolerate. And
the reasons why I run away from the med.
Yeah. Especially with the metabolic side effects, like weight gain, some might even cause your blood pressure to like go high and all that.
Yeah.
But I know that with the hope of advances in drug development and technology, we can have better regimens, because I can let you know just that mental health issues like psychosis, for example, they've done a lot more in trying to like roll out new medications, because way back in the days, the way they were even treated was, very, very abysmal. I don't know how medicine was practiced, but then we've made a lot of advances, and I hope that, with time, like a drug like Abilify, it's actually one of the best out there. But way back in the days, what was being used wasn't really, really good. So I'm very hopeful that we're going to come up with more medications to deal with
Abilify
that will have side effects.
I like Abilify, but the challenge we had with Abilify was because it was too expensive. A pack of Abilify would do for like 30 grand that time. I think I've been on like 2-3 packs before. So that was why he now suggested maybe to go on some other less expensive word crude. To use the word crude, that they were, is it very raw? So Abilify has some elements that kind of offs or reduces the crudeness.
The crudeness of
But this one is just coming direct, like dispensing direct. That's why you have all of those side effects. So yes, I told him, let's do it this way. Let me just stop when I can. Maybe if I have something doing. That was what I told him then. Maybe I get a job, then I'll now put it on my monthly budget that, okay, set aside 30 grand or whatever for Amplifying monthly. And it's always very scarce, so you have to like book ahead. So he even gave me the number of the person that distributes or something here in town. So you book like for like 3 months ahead that, okay, you now bring the person. I think there are just very few around in the South. Yes.
Well, we'll keep monitoring that because I don't want you to skip your medications, but we'll keep monitoring you on that. Now, for those that might, have, schizophrenia, maybe similar psychotic conditions, and they're finding it very hard to adjust, maybe because they don't have any form of social support or they haven't been able to find somebody to talk to. What are some of the words of encouragement you might give to them if they might be listening to this? That's one part of the question. The second part of the question is, how can we, support you? People that don't have any experience with this, but they would like to support more. How can we be allies to those who might be going through, this kind of issues?
Mainly, like in my own case, I didn't have this level of support because support for me is understanding me, first of all. Understanding what I'm going through. At that time when it happened to me, I didn't have this level of, as in having people that really understood what the whole stuff was all about. So what they could do then, which is what I think most of them are experiencing now, would just be maybe their parents or their siblings or relatives. Just do the basic things, hygiene, help you ensure you've had your bath, brush your teeth, ensure you've had breakfast, lunch, check up on you, and all of that. Because at there's a stage the thing does not even allow you. Cannot even, as in that early stage, cannot even function. You can't even do anything. You're kind of, let me use the word, invalid, because that first stage you do not even understand yourself. The next person does not even understand you. Nobody understands anything. Or maybe if you're seeing a doctor, that might be the only person that understands what's going on. And so at that stage, it's just the basic help around the house or wherever the person is staying. Have faith in God, because that also helps us. Because before we went to clinic, let me just mention something. I think I said it before in the other episode that when it first started, we're just moving from church to church. That was it. We're praying, sending our prayer requests to brethren, to friend churches where we worship and all of that. Until a friend of my mom saw her and said, "What is that? What this thing happened to your daughter? That she thinks we should go to the hospital, which is the teaching hospital, and that we should go to a department called mental health." And so when my mother went, the very first day, it was the chief. They call it chief or something, in charge of that department. He was the one that was around that attended to us. The man just wrote prescribed. So I wasn't even conscious. I wasn't really know what it is. My mom was telling me. Then she went to the dispensary. She bought the drugs, came back home, and gave me. I started taking. It wasn't up to 2 weeks. I said we've been going to church for like 9 months, moving around everywhere. It wasn't up to 2 weeks. This was March 2013. So that's it. So I will also encourage them to see a doctor as well. And then maybe begin to take medications as well. Then also, I don't know because I've not done that yet, speaking to friends about it or telling your friends how to care for you. I've not gotten to that level. But if they are strong enough to, fine, they can go ahead yet. So just stay prayerful. That's all.
Okay. I mean, just a little bit more on that would be whatever level of support you need and you think you can find that will not be debilitating to your current condition, go for it. Sometimes families are not any better. maybe you can find in friends. Sometimes it might be friends and not families or families of friends. Or even it could be like other communities, like your church groups, your working groups, your workout groups. There's always somebody out there that would, listen to you and encourage you. And so you decide what that level of support is. And I also want to emphasize what you said earlier on about, prayer is good. I'm a Christian as well. I believe in the power of prayers. And, if you have to be on medications or seek therapy, do all of that. There are not mutually exclusive things you can do. Do that and seek help. So she gave that example of how she, for so long she was catatonic. She wasn't talking and she was just in a frozen state. And luckily for her, her mom, her friend, told her, take your daughter to a doctor, let them examine her. And then just within weeks of being placed on medication, you had that turnaround. And I'm sure you could also even feel like your body came back. You could almost like you were stuck in a prison. You couldn't escape. So just to encourage people that I know there's a lot of stigma about medications that, if you use medications, you don't have faith, you're not Christian enough. Please, whatever you think you need to get on, if it's therapy, if it's medications and therapy plus prayer, please go get that help and don't let that hold you back. Since we're rounding off now, but I'd like to ask you, two things. Actually three things. So I know that your desire is to have a companion. I know the last time we talked about this, you had a boyfriend then, but then they were not being very supportive as you wanted. Have you dated anybody since then? Or what are some of the challenges you have being out there and, being single and wanting to be in a relationship?
Yeah, okay. Yes, as much as I desire, I'm also one of my own constraints. I'm the one constraining myself because you have to put yourself out there as well to be seen, to be heard. You cannot just every day be locked up in your room and expect people will know that there's one girl somewhere that that is ready to mingle or something. So the moment I started talking to myself about that was where I first accepted this job. As much as the conditions are not really what I should take, because it's pretty stressful. For 28 days you're out there, always in the field, you're moving from house to house, trying to get data for whatever they want to use it for and all of that. Yes, you'll be paid at the end of 28 days, but when you come back, you need to regain yourself. See, I've just been on bed rest, just been in the house since I came back. That was last week or last 2 weeks. I've just been indoors trying to regain because sunburns and all of those things. So in the course of this, like I said, I'm the one that has been holding myself back because I don't even go out. I don't want to mix up to that level where I have to start telling you too many things that you might not even understand. So when this job came and I accepted, somehow, it's not even somehow because it's just how it happens. Once you put yourself out there, not like you're saying you want anything, but once you meet people, you interact with opposite sex, somehow somebody might just, find you attractive and pleasant and might want to talk to you. So that's what happened. And somebody spoke with me and I've not gotten to any reveal stage yet. I still want to know the person very well. But so far, the person has shown some sense of empathy. Like you could see that this person is a kind person. Yes, as much as I've not said anything yet. So you can see that, okay, this person is kind. By the time you're ready to speak to him, even if he doesn't understand, that he would, lend that listening ear for you to talk and all of that. So that's just where we are right now. And I'm still open to meeting other new persons or new people. But so far, so good. This person I'm speaking with is a kind person. That's all I can say.
Okay. I think, you've already said it initially, like the challenges of not being out there more because of, the content contentness you feel just with the voices. So those can also limit your social interaction. So I'm glad that at least you have that insight. I do hope that you not like push yourself to the brink of exhaustion, but at least, slowly open up more. And I pray that you find the right person that can support you, because you deserve to be supported. You're very, you're a wonderful person, and I do wish that above and beyond for you. Now the second part will be your parents. So I know your dad is late. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry. My condolences about your dad's passing. And it's been a while, but you were very, very close with him. Since you had been on the show, what has your relationship been with your mom and your sisters and, your other siblings as well?
Yeah, my mom has been very, very great in her own way. She has been doing a lot, especially when I didn't even have anything doing. She tries out of her little. She has been very, very supportive. She has been caring and all that.
I can imagine that, there've been some low moments and some high moments. So I'd like to ask, after almost a decade of battling with schizophrenia, what are you most grateful about and what are you most regretful about?
Okay, I'm grateful to God for life. I'm grateful to God for my family, for the level He has opened their eyes to understand what I'm going through. I'm grateful to Him for that. I'm grateful to Him for my friends, in as much as I've not, made any reveal, but I see care, I see empathy, I see how much they look out for me, call up and check up on me. So I'm grateful to them, and that tells me that if I eventually decide to, let them know what's up, then I would really have a strong support system. Then, utmostly, I'm grateful to God for my sister Mo, the owner of this platform, where I'm able to share all of this with you people that might get to listen. I'm very grateful to God for her, because as it stands, she's the only person that is really interfacing and checking up that understands truly what I'm going through. Also from the medical angle, speaking with psychiatrists on my behalf, linking me up with them as well, raising funds for my medications and all of that. It's not easy. Somebody that's not family, doing all of that to you. But then again, family is not just relation or relatives by blood. Family is the people that truly care and show you that they are there for you. For me, that's family. So I'm grateful to God for Mo, for her husband, for allowing her the time, the opportunity, the chance to be of help to me and also to others, because she's really doing very great, helping people as well that are going through other stuff, not just me. And God in His benevolence will bless her and her family. So I'm grateful to God for all of that. I'm grateful to God for the things I'm expecting Him to do in future, things that I'm not seeing happen. I'm not seeing happening now, but I'm very sure they will happen. Having a permanent job that will not require too much physical activity. Okay, yes, and then being productive as well in that field, and also a life partner, children as He pleases, just beautiful things of life. I'm very expectant, and I'm grateful to God in advance for all of those things. And then my major regret as it regards my journey would be the choice I made in 2011 of having to go serve in church. Sometimes we decide to do certain things. They look very good when you say them. They look very religious and all of that, but that might not really be the plan for you at that time. So I don't know if I didn't hear God well or if I was just putting my flesh. I don't know what it was, but I chose to go serve in church, and that's where I came in contact with this person, in quotes, the minister of the gospel, as it were, that somehow tampered with destiny, my destiny, as it were, because that's what each time this conversation is raised in my family about my condition and all of that, they always trace it to that pastor you worked with and that did all of those things. He's late now, no doubt, but I leave it to God because there's nothing I can do. But I know that one day, I believe God that one day I can just wake up one morning and I won't feel any kind of way. I won't hear those voices anymore. I just believe God, a miracle can still happen. You know, I'm very, very hopeful for that. And I'm thankful for that to come. So that's just, yeah.
Well, I'm sorry once again to hear about the abuse you experienced and what seemed to be like the catalyst that triggered all of this. And I know that they always say that hindsight is 2020. And if you had known, you probably wouldn't have dabbled in it. But what that person did was took advantage of you, and that was spiritual abuse right there. If there's anything I know about God, He doesn't like people who take His name in vain. So we'll leave that to them. But one thing I'll pray for you about is that God will take all of this and turn it around for your good. We don't know why these things happen. We don't know why, in a spiritual, atmosphere like in a church, a lot of abuse goes on. And I'm not going to sit here and say everything happens for a reason. No. That shouldn't happen. But what I will pray for that God will take all of that and turn it around for your good. And I pray that you will rise above these issues and not just to come to a place of self-determination, but also to use these stories to help people set their own stories free as well. I pray that, Lord, you'll get, peace for days and those your heart desires for, to have things come back to what you determine as normalcy, and also to be able to have a companion of your own, a godly companion of your own. I pray that you have all of that and much more. And God will just grant desires of your heart and fill you with His peace. So all this and more, I pray for you, sis. So I want to say thank you so much for coming back once again to share your story and, let us know what you've been up to, how you've been coping, and this is impactful right here because you've taught me a better appreciation of just the complexity of the human mind. And as someone that has worked in the pharmacy field for quite a while, you don't really get to know a lot about what goes on in the mind of, the other people that are not, non-healthcare professionals. So your insights really matters a lot and you're making a lot of impact. So I said it again, you're making a lot of impact by being more vocal about your story. And I hope that those that are listening to this, if you are, someone with schizophrenia who might need a support system, I hope you guys are able to use the story that we talked about today to, get that encouragement that you need. Remember to find the level of support that you want and not, one that would make you worse. As far as your current condition, make your current condition worse rather. Anyways, this was all we had to talk about today. As always, thank you guys for listening. I remain your host, Mosibo. Thanks a lot, sis. I'll catch you on the other side of the WhatsApp world. I appreciate all of your time and your help. And
thank you so much. Thank you.
Be in good health. All right.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Bye and love you.
I love you too.
All right. Bye. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Mosibo Podcast. Well, guess what? There's plenty more where that came from. So visit our website at www.mosibyl.com. That is www.mosibo.com, where you can find hours of other binge-worthy episodes just like this one. And while you're at it, please don't forget to subscribe and leave us a rating on Apple Podcasts or Podbean, as it encourages other awesome people like you to listen to the podcast as well. We are now officially on Podbean. It has an app. You can catch up on missed episodes and also get a notification when we have new episodes. Do you have a question for our guest, feedback on the episode, or a suggestion for a future guest? Then please get in touch with us by sending us an email at talktomo@mosibo.com or connect with us via Instagram at the Mosibo Podcast. Cannot wait to hear from you, and thank you so much for always listening.